show you how I pull one of these caps out if you want to get a close up of this. So I grab the cap on one side with the needle nose pliers like this. We're not too worried about breaking them since they're already broken. And then I take the soldering iron on the other side and I locate the terminals for the capacitor. And I just touch it to one of the terminals until the solder starts to flow. And then I pull the capacitor away from it. And then I touch the other terminal until it flows and pull the solder away from that. And then just repeat that back and forth until I'm able to pull the terminals all the way out. If you want to use a solder sucker, that would probably also work well too. And then I just draw the solder away from the hole like that. Okay, so I got the cap off and I pulled the solder away from the holes. So I'm going to do that for the remaining caps right here. And then I'm going to take my new caps, which I bought at Fry's Electronics for an outrageous amount of money at $3.87 each. These aren't exactly replacement ones. I bought the 50 volt high temp rated 1000 microfarad caps, but they should fit even though they're a little bit bigger than the ones that we're pulling off. There's my helper. He's going to show you. And then when we put the replacement cap in, we want to make sure not to trim the leads until we get all the way back in there, and to make sure that we align the polarized side of the cap up with the existing polarization markers that are on the board. Once we do that, we get the cap all the way in, then soldering it back on. It's pretty easy. Take some of our, you can put the cap in and then bend the leads down like that. And you take some rosin flux, put it around the pad.
Mommy, Daddy.
Mom. Then you take some of your lighted solder, your soldering iron, and then touch the pad with the soldering iron, and then work the solder back on, and then repeat for the other side. And then we have it on there, and then I'm going to go find my diagonal cutters and then trim the leads away, and then we'll be done. We'll repeat for each of them. Move on to the next part. Okay, so I've removed all of my old caps and I've installed the new caps on this side of the board, and I've trimmed the leads on the solder side of the board. One last thing that I like to do when using any type of flux is to go in with some isopropyl alcohol and clean the solder joints to make sure that there's no residue left over. It's probably not completely necessary to do this, but I'm very superstitious because you never know when you're going to run across some conductive flux, and that would be bad. So just go in there and wipe away any of the flux residue that you see. I'm just using regular 91% alcohol. That should work fine. So then we'll go ahead and clean all these up just like this. Don't worry about spilling it. There don't appear to be any holes on this side of the board that would allow the alcohol to spill onto the other side of the board. Okay? And then there's the new solder job. And then we're off to the next step where we install it back into the TV. Alright, so now we have our board. We're going to install it back in the way we found it. So it came out of the TV right from here. There's some alignment tabs there, and it aligns right over the screw holes like that. And then there's 6 screws that we're going to install around the perimeter of the board. And then we're going to reattach each of the 7 connectors, and then we'll move on to putting the shield back on. Okay, so what we've done is we reattached all of the cables and we've fastened down all the 6 mounting screws for the power supply board. And then now we're going to reinstall the cover. The cover should have an opening for each of the cables that come out the sides. So make sure that the cables go through.
screws.
And then it should snap down in place. And then there'll be 7 mounting screws that go around the edge of that. Okay, so now we got the shield back on with 7 screws mounted down tightly. There's one thing I forgot to mention. We gotta tape this speaker wire back onto the cage to keep it from getting pinched in the cover when we put the cover back on. But now we'll put the cover back on, and then after that, then we'll fire it up and see if it works. Alright, so now we have the cover installed back on, and we're gonna plug it in and see if it works. So we're gonna plug it in. And I have my assistant helper right here. He's going to take the remote control and he's going to push the power button and see if it turns right on. Now we shouldn't hear any clicks when we turn it on except for the one click to activate the relay once.
Yeah.
We should see the picture come back on. Yay! Looks like
Yay!
it's working. Alright.
TV
Yep, there's no antenna hooked up yet.
Yeah.
But that's it.
Okay, why don't you turn it off?
So you can go ahead and turn it off.
And then try it one more time. Make sure that there's no clicks. I think the sensor's
I think
covered.
the sensor might be down here. It could be up there though.
No, it's down there, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, point the remote down here, buddy. And then push the power button. Yeah, stand right here. There we go.
Now
Alright,
try it.
alright, wait a minute, and then you do it again. Point it right at it and push the button again. Point it down here. There we go. Let's see if it comes right on.
TV on.
There was one click.
Back.
Alright, it came right on.
Yay!
So now we fixed the TV and it can go back up on the wall. So now all we have to do is put the wall mounts back on and put it back up, connect up all our cables, and we're good to go. I'd like to say thank you to my helper Milo and my lovely assistant wife who's holding the camera. And I'll see you later.